They say, a wedding day is the happiest day of your life. But for some brides, it was the last. Across the United States, tales of ghostly brides drift through foggy graveyards, candlelit churches, and haunted hotels. Brides who never made it down the aisle, or who died moments after saying, "I do." Tonight, we uncover America's most haunted bridal spirits, women cursed to wander forever in their wedding gowns, searching for love that was never meant to be. The Bride of Belcourt Castle, Rhode Island. In the quiet coastal town of Newport, Rhode Island, lies Belcourt Castle, a mansion filled with priceless antiques and haunted echoes of the past. Among its eerie collection, one presence stands out: the Bride of Belcourt Castle. Visitors claim to see a woman in a vintage wedding gown gliding across the ballroom, her veil trailing behind like mist. Some say she appears before storms, others on the night of her death anniversary. According to local legend, she was a young woman from the early 1900s, engaged to the son of the castle's owner. But hours before her wedding, her fiancé died in a carriage accident just outside the gates. Devastated, she put on her gown and threw herself from the grand staircase. Now, her spirit is said to dance alone in the ballroom, waiting for a song that will never end. The Ghost Bride of the Stanley Hotel, Colorado. The Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, famous for inspiring Stephen King's The Shining. But among all the phantoms that roam its corridors, one spirit stands out: a woman in white known as Elizabeth Wilson, the ghost bride of room 217. Elizabeth wasn't a bride when she died. She was a maid, preparing the presidential suite for a honeymooning couple in 1911. When a gas leak caused an explosion, she was thrown through the floor. She survived, but not for long. Locals say she died weeks later, her dreams of love never fulfilled. Now, guests in room 217 report waking up to see a woman standing at the foot of the bed, folding their clothes, adjusting their pillows, as if preparing the room for newlyweds that never arrived. Couples have felt hands caressing their hair at night, and sometimes the faint smell of roses and burning gas. The room is ready, sir. The Bride of Stowe Lake, California. In the heart of San Francisco's Golden Gate Park lies Stowe Lake, a peaceful spot by day, but when night falls, the lake becomes home to a ghostly legend known as the White Lady of Stowe Lake. The story tells of a young mother in the early 1900s who came to the lake with her baby. They say she was wearing her wedding dress, recently married, her husband off to war. As she sat near the water, she turned away for just a moment, and her baby's carriage rolled into the lake. In panic, she dove in after it, and neither were seen again. To this day, witnesses claim to see a soaked woman in a torn bridal gown wandering near the shore, asking in a trembling voice, "Have you seen my baby?" If you answer her, locals warn, she'll drag you into the lake to search forever beside her. The Bride of the Bourbon Orleans Hotel, Louisiana. New Orleans, a city soaked in mystery, death, and voodoo. The Bourbon Orleans Hotel once served as a convent and ballroom, and it's said to be haunted by dozens of restless souls. Among them, the Lonely Bride of Orleans. Long ago, a young woman was said to marry a Confederate officer. The wedding was to be held right in the ballroom, her white dress symbolizing hope in dark times. But on the eve of her wedding, news arrived: her fiancé had been killed in battle. Heartbroken, she hung herself from the ballroom chandelier, still wearing her gown. Now, guests and staff report seeing her silhouette swaying gently in the corner of the ballroom, the air thick with the scent of jasmine and tears. Late at night, music sometimes plays on its own, and a ghostly figure in white drifts across the dance floor, searching for her lost love. The Lincoln Ghost Bride of Illinois. In Illinois, along a lonely country road, lies the Lincoln Ghost Bridge, a place where travelers report seeing a glowing figure in a wedding dress walking the tracks. She's known as the Lincoln Ghost Bride. The legend says she was on her way to her wedding when her carriage was struck by a train at a crossing. Her fiancé arrived at the scene moments later, only to find her lifeless body still clutching her bouquet. Ever since, drivers at night claim their headlights suddenly reveal a woman in white, her eyes hollow, her face pale, her dress fluttering though there's no wind. And when they blink, she's gone. But sometimes they say she appears in the back seat of the car, staring silently into the darkness. The Eternal Brides. Love and death, the two most powerful forces in human history. These haunted brides, from Rhode Island's silent halls to California's dark waters, are echoes of love stories that ended in tragedy and perhaps unfinished vows. Their white gowns once symbolized purity and hope. Now, they're symbols of sorrow, of promises never kept, and lives cut short by fate. So if you ever see a woman in white on a lonely road, or hear soft sobs in an empty ballroom, don't follow, don't look too long. Because some brides are still waiting to say, "I do." Till death do us part doesn't always mean the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more uploads.